I'm live. Yeah, I think I am. I am. Good morning, everybody. We're saying good morning, aren't we? It's always a little bit precarious when he's around. I've just been in the garden. I've only just come back out because he wanted to go. He's been eating grass. He's been a bit slow today. Anyway, he's 77 in human years, so if you see him running on the beach, you wouldn't think that. But this morning he seems to be calm and reflective, and he's such a comfort to me. Everybody who has an animal in these days, or is an animal lover and has the fortune of having an animal around, will have noticed that they're amazing, aren't they? How they sort of tune in with you a bit, and how they make you feel, well, make you feel there, make you feel. Let me just see. Oh yeah, I wanted a little bit of background music. Sorry, I've been reading things again this morning. Well, first of all, good Monday morning. Good Monday morning. It's the 18th, and 18th of May. Unbelievable. I'm very glad I've done these live streams, because when it all happened in the beginning, I just did it for a laugh. I think my first one was a Sunday afternoon, which I didn't do in March, my cafe session. And I just wanted to share with people who have been in my circle and who would have been there on that Sunday. And so I decided to do a session, do a live stream. I have an iPad, so I just thought, let me do that. And so that was the first one, and I did the second one, and then, I don't know, about 6 or 7 weeks ago, I decided, let me do them on a Monday, because Monday 11:30 is my usual session. We are a very mixed group. It's different every week. I have a small group of special needs who comes regularly on and off. And lovely people like Marlene and Margareta, and I could name them all here, and I'm going to YouTube this, and I'm sending it to them, because some of them are not on social media. In fact, most of my friends really are not necessarily on social media. I'm starting to get a little bit of grey hair. I'm most annoyed, actually, because that was always something I've been quite proud of. My mother's genes, she didn't get grey until quite late. And it's the same with me. I'm not grey. But Corona has given me a little bit of grey hair. But some people go white overnight, don't they? They have a shock and your hair goes white. What's that all about? It just shows you how the body reacts to everything. And that's what is happening now, isn't it? Sorry, it's recorded, so he's not actually barking. He don't even recognize himself barking. Anyway, so yesterday I had a lovely day. Well, the weather's been so nice. I think all of my lockdowns, is this a bit too loud? I'm not sure. All of my lockdowns, I think the weather has been lovely. So I have this little room which I love. It's very sunny in the afternoon, which is lovely for me, because when it's a little colder in the winter, I sit in here, call it my sunroom. It's tiny. But it's not about that, is it? It's about how a room makes you feel, and I seem to have a room for different moods. It's just generally the sun I'm following. So in the morning I have it in my front room. I have a lodger. Well, it's a guest actually now, because he can't work either. It's the funniest thing, actually. I know this is about circles, and I will put a circle on in a minute. But he has applied for universal credit a little while ago. Got it straight away, because he hasn't got any money, and but of course needs it to live off. So rent is not really. I didn't expect it anyway. But he also applied for job seekers allowance, and got 4 letters. First one saying he qualified. Second letter saying he doesn't qualify. Third letter saying they all arrived on Saturday, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. The third letter saying if he did get it, he'd have to pay tax on it. And then he got another one the other day, same matter, saying he doesn't qualify for job seekers allowance. So I don't know what job seekers allowance is really about, because if you get it paid, you're lucky. But even if you were to seek a job at the moment, there isn't much around, is there? And then maybe you have to work with a mask if you're taking it on, and it's all a bit odd. It's all a bit odd, isn't it? But I've been saying that for the last few weeks because I've been like following breadcrumbs, or maybe I've been following the white rabbit or whatever, and you know, people always used to say, don't, oh God, that's a rabbit hole, don't go down that rabbit hole. So we don't go down that rabbit hole until Corona Rona. This has become quite a regular morning drink. It's from my friend Jo Cacao, I call her. It's cacao liquid love blend. It's been marvellous. Thank you so much, Jo, for letting me have this as a token when they cut me off from my internet and so on. I have a little respite from that, but if I do get controversial credit, I can't pay my phone bill out of that, or my internet bill out of that, and I have nothing left. So I might be offline soon. I can't be worrying about this anymore, guys. I mean, the last 10 weeks I've had scenarios in my head, and I've actually given my faith to humanity, really, in my own self, because yesterday and the last couple of days I can see news are coming out from all over the world. I have good friends in Europe. I have a friend who's Czech, same thing. She's not even political. We just talked about stuff going on in the individual countries because they have good families there. So you hear things from people and they won't put it on no social media. I mean, most people are afraid of Facebook anyway because of the trolls and gaslighting and whatever else is going on there. But it's still a platform for me. I mean, I love this cocoa blend. Sorry, I'm going to say this again because they've worked so bloody hard. It's a chocolate energy drink, Ayurvedic and Peruvian herbs and spices, dairy-free, sugar-free, gluten-free, guilt-free. So I just thought I'd mention it again because, I don't know, if their business is like mine, then we small people, the entrepreneurs, the small businesses and so on who, I'm furloughed, I don't have any furlough, it's just me. And I know it's probably the same with Joe and Mark and so on. And I know lots of my friends are self-employed. Lots of my friends have their own small business, a holistic business, a practice of some kind where they put their heart and soul in because they were tired of the system. You know, they were either teachers or they were whatever. It doesn't matter. I meet them from all walks of life, whether they were in marketing or whether they were in finance or whether they were in you know, a lot of my good friends have had jobs in the system, and at some point, even without knowing what it was all about, decided to leave that system, but not really. We just started to make our money in a different way, not for a large corporation as I had done, where somebody pays your travel fees or something, but something which you want to do from your heart. And in 2010 I did a workshop in it, you know, with Lucinda, and that was amazing. And I had already been on the trail of positive thinking because I'm quite an optimist at heart anyway, always have been. And as I've said in every live stream, I've met really amazing people here since I've lived to move to Bournemouth. It's a very high vibration energy here, obviously because we've got this beautiful sea in it. If anybody looks at my posts, you will see that, you know, for the first few years all I really posted was my circles and the good weather. I remember people in the high street saying, oh, I see your post, you always post such nice pictures of the beach. Yeah, because I'm never going to get used to living here and being so privileged, and even though it cost me, anyway, it doesn't matter. This is a positive. This is a positive because I actually feel free to say much more now. You know, I fell out with people over Brexit, I fell out with people over all sorts of things, but because I do circles, non-verbal communication and upping the vibes and all the things I say on my website, I don't want to start a political discussion. I'm not a truther. I'm not a revoluzer. Am I? It's just that my cage is being rattled. My cage is being severely rattled. So the isolation has certainly done something to me. It has allowed me to actually follow the rabbit rather than shushing it away. I did it with Peter Rabbit. You know, the farmer coming can't eat our salad. Well, I'm meandering. The thing is, what I feel has happened now, is sort of crystallized in myself, is that I do know that I want a new future, and I do want a whole new system, but it had always been so completely fluffy, this sort of thing, this sort of thinking, that I didn't actually think it would ever go on. I mean, in 2016 I studied a lot of the work of Michael Tellinger, and I'm writing a book, so I even put a chapter of that in there, because I was absolutely mesmerized by the idea of Ubuntu. You know, I loved that. And then I spoke to friends about it, my ex-husband and so on, and everybody was saying, you are living in La La Land, girl. This is never going to happen. I mean, the world, everybody needs their money. Everybody would say, what do you mean bartering? No, not bartering. Just, if everybody just worked for everybody, and it's not communism either. I'm not communist. I'm not any of these things. It's all a ruse anyway. I mean, none of these things are real. And now the real comes out because of Corona. And mustn't forget to put a bit of music on. Every little cell in my body is well. Every little cell in my body is happy. Every little cell in my body is well. Every little cell in my body is happy. Every little cell in my body is well. I can tell every little cell. He wants to lie where I am sitting. That's what he wants to do. He wants to lie here and have his morning here as he has, in peace and quiet. Not me. He's falling asleep right here. Zippy. Do you want to be comfy? Come here. If you want to be comfy. Come here, come here. You don't want to be sitting there like a perch. He's perching. He's literally perching. Anyway. In my body is happy. Every little cell in my body is well. I can tell every little cell in my body is well. I can tell every little cell in my body is well. I am glad for online yoga. I've been doing the big one. I do the hour one, and then I'm doing the yin sometimes. I should do it probably more often, but I'm doing it fairly regularly because I can feel my body getting, you know, I'm used to going into the sauna twice a week and all of that stuff, which has always kept me very healthy. I have a good immune system, don't really suffer from colds and stuff like that. But I've been quite dedicated to that. Being German, you know, we like the sauna, we could do sport, and then afterwards you sweat it out. That's quite a normal thing to do. When I came to England, that wasn't such a normal thing. But over time, you know, it has become something people do here as well. So all these developments going all over Europe. I mean, I remember being in Russia and I don't know, 12, 13 years ago, and my agent there, we were in the forest, and it was beautiful, and there was no joggers, you know, and you saw some people with their dogs, and I said, have you got any joggers? And he went, joggers? He said, joggers, that's for rich people. And I said, how do you mean? He said, we just, you know, we don't jog. Well, maybe now, of course, now it's 12 years on, I'm sure the Muscovites are jogging like everybody else does in the world. But that was not a priority there in those days. So it's all been rather interesting to me to see, because I've been back in touch with some of my old friends from the old days, my trading days. They are just as puzzled, but most of them are desperately trying to save their business, and some of them are extremely busy because it was a food area, frozen food, fish, and stuff like that. They do everything they possibly can to hold their company and get furlough from the government, I dare say, till October. I mean, I don't know Are they printing the money or something? Very strange, isn't it, Zippy? Are we going to leave our children with billions and trillions of debt? I don't think we want that. There was something interesting I heard, though, because I've always been a little bit, I wanted to have this alien haiku, yeah, that was nice. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, of course the Brexit thing. The Brexit thing. So the ones who didn't want a Brexit say, see, we should be part of Europe. Then we can sort all this. And the ones who don't want to be in Europe say, thank God we're not in Europe. Because the debts, the money. I mean, if they're all in a club and help each other, Italy needs quite a lot, I suppose. I don't know, I'm not political enough. I just didn't like the feeling of it. And then I read, from my industry stuff, I still get emails, about how, both sides are trying to argue their case, and the UK will continue to work hard to find an agreement, but we very much need a change in Euro approach for the next round beginning on June the 1st. Now, we have obviously major obstacles now. The UK will not agree arrangements that are manifestly unbalanced and against the interests of the UK fishing industry. See, I remember quite a lot of Europe. The fishing industry, of course, hugely rules, quotas. I mean, I never understood it because I dealt in tropical stuff, shrimps and stuff. But that whole fishery, so complicated with the quotas and everything. I never got the heck. I mean, it wasn't my business, thank God. Sit in the same room with them. So the UK will not agree to arrangements that are manifestly unbalanced and against the interests of the UK fishing industry. He said, it is hard to understand why the EU insists on an ideological approach, which makes it more difficult to reach a mutually beneficial agreement. A senior UK official close to the talks said that they have been a little bit touchy at times and disruptive, but had gone well in terms of progress. The problem continues to be that the EU thinks that a kind of halfway house between what we're willing to see and on a so-called level playing field, and what they're willing to see and what we're willing to live with on fisheries, and where they are willing to see, basically no idea. Yeah? Because if the problems in Europe are all the same, state paying their people not to work and stuff like that, and they will all have a problem, won't they? I mean, isn't it it's a global thing, isn't it? It's not just here. So they are arguing their view, and people get taxed about it, reading their Telegraph or Guardian or whatever they're reading, and then they're getting pushed from here to there, because the Guardian, I don't know. I don't know anymore. I thought Guardian was left-wing, Telegraph's right-wing, whatever, right? But now, when I'm reading between the line, there doesn't seem to be any bloody difference between any of them. Is it just me? I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Although, I don't know. Cognitive dissonance. I mean, I looked at that before because I have that. Surely not. That can't be. That would make me a fool. I'm not a fool. I'm not a fool. So let me study something which agrees with what I'm thinking. And blimey, I find something. I find something for everything, I think. If I wanted to stay in Europe, I mean as a country here, I'm not talking as a person. As far as I'm concerned, this is a bit of the earth which we are all occupying. And there's another bit of the earth we are occupying, and there's another bit of the earth we are occupying. And we spend all our time fighting with each other on the behest of the masters. Now we have enough ascended masters and enough intellect and intelligence of people who have been doing this work of truth finding for a long, long time. They're exhausted, but they're rejoicing. Because lo and behold, things are actually changing. I mean, not just in your woolly-headed idea, not just in your fluffy, pinky thinking. Unity, harmony, I guess this desire for me, the harmony, the desire for harmony, comes because my ascendant is in Libra and my moon is in Libra, and my sun is in Pisces. So harmony is something I really strive for as a character and as a person. And I'm still friends with people I used to work with. I didn't leave that trade going, I'm leaving this trade now. No, it swam away from me literally, because I was focusing so much on this, what I love doing, that I simply couldn't afford to travel anymore. And I didn't like it anymore. The rules were getting more and more and more. It was getting more and more difficult for smaller entrepreneurs to make a living because the regulations from Europe became more and more convoluted. So therefore, or more stringent. So only large corporations, really. I mean, there was a company called British Seafood. Amazing how quickly they rose to top. Incredible. Offered people money to join them. Offered me £20,000 to join them. Please join us. I can't even remember when that was. 10 years ago. Was it? No, it was after the financial crisis. It was after that. No, early 2000s. Yeah. 2002 or something. No, pay you 20 grand to join us. And I thought, yeah, you think I give you everything I know about this trade? And then after 6 months you say to me, you haven't made enough money, lady. You can go now. So no. I went to my boss. I went back to my company where I worked. I'd been working for, I don't know, several years, 8, 9 years. And I told him, I said, listen, this happened. And they're not just doing this to me. They're phoning people from all our trade and entice them. And then they join, and before you know it, you had a whole brigade of all these young entrepreneurs, these really clever young people who joined them. Because there was a lot of money to be made in the seafood. I don't know what happened to them. They went crashing down at some point. Spectacular. Corruption, all the rest of it. I don't even want to know. I mean, I was well out of the trade by then. I couldn't care less about these people. But when I was listening to reports lately about what's happening, what Sasha Stone says, and Michael Tellinger, and all these wise people, that they rose so quickly in power, was because their connections were excellent. I mean, now I know their office was in, well, anyway, doesn't matter. I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to go there. It's a long time ago. And I'm on to a new dawn, personally. No good on my own, is it? I mean, we could all want to live on an island. Well, no, I don't think. We live on an island already anyway. It's rather large, but we're all an island somewhere. There's water all around us. So, this is not even such a huge planet, is it? There's so much going on. So much going on this little planet. And it's so beautiful. It's been so beautiful. As soon as the lockdown started, the world became beautiful. I mean, the world, the air, the trees. I mean, we're in spring. You know, it's a healthy time of year. People are out and about and go swimming. Yesterday, I saw 2 ladies going into the water. Oh my God! No, that I think I'm not quite that brave. But I go into my knees. Spoke to a friend yesterday. Well, he used to be one of my volunteers. Lovely man. I was going to say young man. He's a young man, but not that young. But he had been in hospital with anxiety 4 or 5 weeks ago, because he's been in the system anyway. But he had done extremely well. I mean, comes to my circles and stuff. Really, really did well. Was reading me poetry over the phone. Because he was reading this book. Because he came out of the hospital and realized that the anxiety is just, he's an empath, so he just felt all of this, and it just did his head in. I mean, it sounds, yeah, anyway, he was telling me how he was feeling, and it sounded very, very serious. So I'm very grateful I don't have this reaction. I guess that's why I feel sort of compelled to say what I'm thinking, because I actually had amazing parents. I have a really nice family, and you know, I hadn't much to contend with as a kid. I was listened to. My sister only came along when I was 6 and a half. I was an only child for a little while, and my parents were great. You know, they had to work, so I stayed time with my grandma for a year, and all of that. Lots of things which we have ourselves in lives. I mean, this was the early 60s, so no, it was actually probably 59 or 60 that I stayed with my grandma. I loved her anyway, so there's no problem. And I visited her regularly anyway after that, so that wasn't a problem. But I do remember that my mum and my dad were very sorry that they had to work full time and really, really plow in order for us. You know, they had a baby now. My mum was only 21, so I stayed with my nan. I think my cousin stayed with my nan as well. I mean, lots of us stayed with my nan. But she lived away, like 2 hours train journey. I don't think my parents had a car. So they visited me at my nan's. And I was potty trained so early. My mother was aghast when my sister took much longer to be potty trained. Sorry, what am I talking about? Potty training. Seriously, what is the matter with me? This is, I've done quite a few Zooms and stuff like that. And I've realized that one gets used to it a little bit. You know, this talking virtually. I'm just imagining that there's a few people sitting here and we're starting a circle. Unfortunately, I can't hear you. If you do have anything, I know I can see Alison, and I don't know whether Alison has got one of these yet. That's what I love about music. Or improvised music anyway. Yeah, Alison, I'm missing it. Do you know when you repeat something 3 times, it becomes something for your brain? Very clever, really. Notice that in all my cycles over the time. I mean, lots of people know that, but if you do a riff 3 times or something, you repeat something, the brain gets used to it. That it has a way of making it acceptable if you repeat it again and again. And that happens with songs, doesn't it? You have a refrain, you know, and everybody remembers the refrain, but nobody remembers sometimes the actual words of the song. In fact, lyrics have become so much more important to me lately, because there's some really good lyrics around. Young people are really kind of coming into their own, publishing music, and I mean, that is really definitely a very positive side of this ability to connect from home. I'm sorry, I'm just looking for, I wanted to play you, because I thought last night that would be such a nice, cars are being pulled away. I wonder whether I didn't pay that tax. Oh, good boy. I'm so glad that he's going there and lying down in peace. No, yesterday I was listening to a circle myself again from a event we did at Highcliffe Castle 2 years ago. Please don't, darling. Listen, you can, so that's a good idea. You lie down there. That's it. At Highcliffe Castle 2-3 years ago, where I accidentally left my recording device on, blah blah blah, and I recorded it. And last night I put it on again, because this whole theme of harmony and balance and the middle way and the Tao and so on, that comes up a lot at the moment, because I think we all really want a middle way. We want to find a way. We want to find a way of moving on forward. You know, the human condition has always been described as suffering and this and that, and all the best poems came from suffering and so on. I didn't really come here to suffer, guys. Honestly, I came here to have fun. I believe in reincarnation, so I know that I've had a lot of shitty lives. Well, in fact, I know I have, because I've been told through my Akash, and I've had it. I've been there with my own regression. I've done ever since I've lived here. I've had a couple of regressions, which were fascinating, absolutely fascinating. But if your brain is not able to accept the idea, A, that you've lived before, and B, that the lives you've lived are part of your id, of your beingness, then I'm wasting my breath completely, and it gets really boring for everybody concerned. So what has been really nice about this lockdown, I find, is that I've been connecting with people. You know, there's a field, you know, I meet you there. And there's an amazing field of people who are so insightful, psychic, giving their, coming forward now, sharing their music, their thoughts, their ideas, and a lot of them are already well known, but I didn't know them, and they didn't know me. And now, because we're crystallizing on different levels, so you have some levels which doesn't watch anything, they don't even want to know about anything, because it's just another conspiracy theory, and it's just another this and that. And I don't want to be the one, well, I think I have been the one sometimes, who says, come on, I do spend my time studying because I don't have any work. So, what am I doing? I'm a bit of a doing person, and I know many friends of mine have said, just relax, just meditate. So I go, I will. Oh. Because enlightenment before washing up, and enlightenment after washing up, No, that's not the right way around, is it? Sorry, what is it? Washing up before enlightenment, washing up after enlightenment. That doesn't change. I have no intention of disappearing into nothing. I'm very much liking being here. I like being here. I like eating, drinking, talking to people, dancing, drumming, having fun, exchanging ideas, discussing subjects, discussing the human condition. I don't want to disappear. I don't want to be in my head all the time. I want to be in my body. I'll probably go into the sea soon. Because, I'm missing that sort of side of the hot yoga and jumping into a cold shower and all of that. I miss that. So I might have to go jump into the sea. So I was looking for this high cliff castle. I've got loads and loads of my circles here, but sometimes afterwards I'm thinking, this sounds rubbish because the tambourine is too loud, or whatever. You just think, oh no, that doesn't sound good at all. But then I'm an amateur, and that's fine. I'm doing it really for me. But this is so good, I'll have to play it again. Can you even hear that? That would look really stupid, wouldn't it? Me bobbing about up and down here, and you're not actually seeing anything. Doesn't even fit that note, actually. I notice all the time how much I miss it, actually. I have no idea how the sound quality comes through. Can you even hear it? My dog lies right there by the tiny little loudspeaker I have. Today promises to be a beautiful day. There is a new air, I feel. I certainly don't think that the children should go back to school. Sorry, I'm just saying that out loud here. As much as I want this whole, ridiculous social distancing and masks and all of that, as soon as I like that to stop, as much as I like that to stop, I certainly do not think that children should go back to school just so that the parents can go back to work and pay taxes. This is just not the right consideration. They closed the whole world down. And if we don't want vaccines, we're getting restrictive, restrictive and possible instructions, because you know, I don't even see it working. I mean, so okay, lockdown is reduced, so some people can work. I mean, the small businesses who've got stock to sell for the summer, I don't even want to. They must be racking their brains of how to survive this, because interest will come back at you. You know, I mean, I'm going to face a mass of stuff. I'm not the only one. I don't even have stock. My van is not working anyway, but it's what my car is, it's what my stuff, and so you call me, I come. But what about if you have stock to sell, and if you know... Delicious. This is delicious. This is delicious. How bad it is for people not to connect non-verbally. How detrimental for your health is it not to meet your friends? But the point is, we didn't actually know, did we? I mean, I didn't know. I didn't know I lose friends. I didn't know I was going to gain friends. Gained a lot of friends. Interesting stuff. Interesting conversations. Interesting. Well, now we've got here. I loved the Seattle World Rhythm Festival. That was so good. That was wonderful 2 years ago. 2 years ago was actually quite an active year for me. I always do the summer retreats, which are wonderful. I've been doing them for the last 5 years with help from, well, I always co-facilitate. I like to share things. I wonder whether you can even hear this now. A friend of mine, Magenta's husband, Daniel, he put some pictures on this Highcliffe Castle community drum circle. It was after the Kirtan, October the 1st, 2017. And I said to Daniel, could you just shorten it and take out the packing up stuff and everything, because I put my phone down and the recording continued. And he did. He put some pictures on it, and then I made it like 20 minutes only out of whatever 50 minutes I recorded. We are singing Hey Ya, Hey Ya. Hey Ya, Hey Ya, Hey Ya, Hey Ya. Hey Ya, Hey Ya, Hey Ya, Hey Ya, 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 Ya. Mother, I feel you under my feet. Mother, I hear your heart beat. Mother, I feel you under my feet. Mother, I hear your heart beat. That circle, I listened to it last night over my loudspeakers, like proper loudspeakers. And it was amazing, because I have these shakers, they're like, anyway, loads of different shakers, and a few drums, of course, and everything. And the way we communicated musically was fabulous. I mean, so fabulous. That we all sort of felt really invigorated afterwards. I wish I could put this a bit higher, because I don't even know whether you can hear any of this. My dog has now gone under there. Because this is a very short... I'm not very well equipped here, guys. Oh no, it's not working. Now I made a mistake, didn't I? Oh yeah, I know, I've taken it out of it. Bit unprofessional, isn't it? You can't even hear these drums. Never mind. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Because, you know, how much equipment do you need? I love these. Breathe in. And breathe out. And breathe in. And breathe out. We always breathe, don't we? We all have a heartbeat. And because because this is my Monday session, very often my Monday session, I started to ask everybody for silence. And then we sit quietly just for a little bit. And then we all go. Some people's heartbeat are slow. Some people like slowness, deliberate slowness. Some people like it really bit faster. Some of us like it really fast. Shamanic journey. Do 126 beats a minute. And then you get yourself into a melted state. And then you go on a journey. Done a lot of journeys. You go on a journey, you find your power animal. And you know, if you speak to people who work in an office about this, they'll go, are you wearing your sandals while you're doing that? I mean, I wouldn't even talk about it in those days. I mean, I didn't go on shamanic journeys back then. Whatever, back then days. But I knew about it. I remember meeting a shaman in 2000. What was that? 2005, I think. Lucille. She lived in Ireland. She was in her 50s or whatever. No, 50s, yeah, Lucille. I met her at a retreat where we were sharing a room, you know, 5 of us. It was like a dorm room. You know, like it is sometimes on these holistic retreats, you share with others. And so that was great. We had a young Japanese woman, Chinese, and her, Lucille, who was Irish, and myself. And it was hilarious, really, because we were, none of us had been doing a dormitory thing for, I don't know, you know, ages and ages. Lucille said she can't even remember that she ever was in a dormitory, but she was one of her 11 in her house, and she was telling me lots of stuff about her family, which was very interesting. But Lucille, and I said, and so, you know, why are you here? This was a positive thinking and retreat for sort of mindfulness and all of that in 2002, I think. And she said, I'm a shaman. And I thought, what? There she was, in her dressing gown. I'm a shaman. I'm going, what? What does that mean, even? What does that even mean? And then she told me, you know, about the elements. And I thought, oh, I know the elements. I mean, I know the elements from astrology. Because in astrology, you have the elements, you know, earth, fire, water, air. Well, you have that also in shamanism, you know, air, fire, you know, earth, my body, water, my blood, air, my breath, and fire, my spirit, earth, my body, water, my blood, air, my breath, and fire, my spirit. So this is maybe what you would call shamanic. But there's a lot to it. I mean, there's whole books written about it. It's amazing. It's an amazing study. Shamanism is an amazing study. And so is a lot of the native and aborigine and all these wisdoms from old, to me, are coming much to the forefront now. But we are also very much dependent on the internet and on that stuff. Elon Musk has a lot to say. So, I haven't read it yet. Somebody sent me something. You need to see that. And I have a lot of need to see at the moment. And that is where it's a little bit more tricky with the meditation. Because, voice, what's this? Oh no, that was singing. Sometimes I recorded our singing groups. I don't want to subject you to it. So, yes, I don't know whether more of you have one of these now, because they have been a boon to me. Because they are... This is coming out of here, isn't it? Yes, it is. Because it's such a lovely thing. It's like playing with a pan, you know, the hang pan or any of these instruments. Where you can just play by yourself. Sansolas are the same, you know, the little town drums. I'm very fond of them. Should get one of them. I've got one. Haven't had it out yet. I have sort of started to fill this little room. It soothes my mind. And that's the only job at the moment for me. Soothing my mind every time I read some other atrocity. My cure against cognitive dissonance is talk to people and read people's stuff and listen to people's videos who have been on this journey much longer than me. And some of them have been bearing a burden huge. You have to be a horror gung-ho person to keep it all even and have a life. Wife, children or whatever, or husband, children or whatever. Because most of us are very, very, very much engaged in just surviving and earning enough money and paying this and that and all of it. I mean, our youngsters, I saw a report by Teal Swan had said something about the millennial generation, because they are called the what? Snowflakes or something. I don't really know why, but anyway, I'm sure I'm going to read up about it. But apart from anything else, youngsters who are born between 1980 and 2000, let's say, that they've had the really rough end of the stick. I mean, suddenly you have to pay for your university degree. You know, the jobs like lawyers and so on would be the ones who pay well. I mean, in America it's been even crazier. I remember reading John Grisham, I think it was. The system there, you know, everybody wants to be a lawyer and everybody wants to be a barrister because there's so much money in picking words apart and, you know, finding fault and legal this, legal that. It's ridiculous. I mean, like, give up back the old day where the pharaoh with his two wise men and the lion sits and goes, let me listen to your story. And he listens to the story and he asks the spiritual advisor and sees whether the lion has yet chopped his head off because he is a villain. I'm joking. I'm exaggerating to make a point. Nobody needs a lion in a court. Well, not an actual one. You could have a metaphysical metaphor of a lion in a court, because what's happening in courts? I mean, you have a whole television series about. Can you imagine? There's a whole entertainment industry about being in court. Judge Judy did. What's that? Because it's so controversial every time, because if you've got the money, you've got the lawyer, and this lawyer is this, and they know each other, and I mean, our millennials, really, maybe they're called lazy, maybe they're, because they can see this is all bullshit. I know, I don't, you know, I'm supposed to, you know, study, then pay a fortune for my degree. My parents have to make sure that I have somewhere to live. They're driving me here, there, then my washing is done on the weekend, then I'm finally finished, I'm a lawyer, I don't find a job. Or you have to work as an intern for free. I mean, what the hell? Why is that okay? Why has that ever been okay? Oh, but then then nobody gets paid. None of us. We all work for each other. Like Michael Tellinger says. And, you know, when I read this way back, I was thinking this will never work. And now I saw yesterday a report he has broadcasted about the American side, that is now back into, I don't know how much, I mean, we don't hear anything on the main media. I've seen nothing in the papers about this, but somebody told me weeks ago that the president has taken back the money, the Federal Reserve, because of the state of emergency. But nobody talks about it. But I think that's quite significant news, really. hear him talking, it seems that a lot of countries are involved with that without even being able to do anything about it. I mean, the death of Africa, do you remember Bob Geldof? Yeah? All the same problem, guys. We should really not fall out with each other over anything, because it's all manipulated. We're meant to fall out, you see. See, one of these days this is going to be a completely political broadcast, guys. No, I'm not interested in that. Not at all. I'd like to just connect people non-verbally, have gatherings, work with the elderly, work with the special needs who have such fun. I wonder, how are you all if you can see this? I know some of them do watch me, you know, because I hear it when I come to the circle and they say, I saw you on YouTube. I love that. And so if you are watching me on YouTube, guys, I miss you like hell, Matt. And anyway, I'm not going to go through names because I've worked with so many. It would be unfair of the ones I do not mention. But and the elderly with a, you know, natter and platter and then we do music as medicine. I've been doing this every Friday afternoon for quite a long time. I've been very grateful for that regular work because it's nice to have regular work. You know, my circles, I might do really well on a circle for a wedding, and I might do really well on a circle for an anniversary, and I love it all, and I come with my gear and I do my stuff and I disappear again. So I love that. But you know, pink glasses off, the regular work is what I could rely on, and as I said, I have a lodger or guest lodger. Gotcha. Anyway, he's a nice young man, very quiet, so we have no problem. And I guess, to be very honest, I'm glad not to be totally on my own, you know. It's nice not to have to be on your own. But if it hadn't been for that happening last year, that I had a lodger, I would be on my own, completely on my own. Which is, I always cherish my own company, actually, I did. I like to be by myself, I don't mind it at all. Not anymore, but, you know, I was married 24 years, so my children are grown up anyway, so, you know, I quite cherish time by myself and doing what I want to do. This is why I changed my whole career, because I like this way of life. But I'm working with the elderly, I'm working with special needs, partial lockdown release or whatever, it's no good to me. So I can't work because I need physical groups, and yeah, maybe I would hate to have to change my career yet again, but who knows, you know, I've done it a few times. But I love this stuff, so I doubt very much I'll change it. But so many things are changing, right? If you're sticking to, I want this to go back to the way it was, I think you'll find that very, 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 very few things would be that way. So why not just make a big old change and stand behind the people who are fighting for us, rather than for the money system? I don't know. Maybe I'm sounding too, I don't know what I'm sounding actually. To be honest, I have been so surprised about things that I'm still processing it myself every day. Every day starts different. Every day starts with either more news or anything which rattles your cage. And so it's been really important for me to do the Qigong. I do, Jenny Newman does a Qigong, and I join that, and Ali does the singing, which I managed not to join, unfortunately, and Simon Wood did a live thing on Friday, which I didn't manage to watch live, but it was the Pans. I love them. And I listened to it yesterday morning, dancing around. So this is a good thing, you can always watch it again. It's nice to be there live though. I have some friends who, you know, make a point of definitely being around at that time. And I do that sometimes as well. Because you feel, you know, the groups are smaller, you know, you say you have a one of my friends loves a group, which it's not that huge following, people are not onto this. And so it's a very small group who join their favourite artist in his living room. I think that's great, you know. And I know that there's a lot of that probably also on television now. I can't watch television anymore, I'm afraid. But I'm sure that there's a lot of what do you call them, people who are very famous anyway, celebrities or whatever, that they're doing their live stream so that more people can see it. More people will hear what they have to say if you still have a telly. But I think I have to be very careful. But I watch, so I've just I had to say goodbye to the telly altogether, really, and the radio, because I want to know what's really going on. And at the moment, the telly doesn't help at all with that, as far as I can see. Maybe it does. I have some friends who will let me know if there's something which is worth watching. Then we'll watch it. Now, let me just see.
Shifting the channel by intending and being clear.
Oh.
Allow sounds to come through your body, not just by singing specific notes, rather by allowing combinations of sound to play your bodies as if they are instruments. These sounds go beyond the logical mind. Sometimes you may fight or struggle because you have intellectualized a concept, yet cannot anchor it in its entirety onto your emotional experience. By toning, your intelligent intent is transmitted on sound, on carrier waves. Many forms of intelligence can communicate to the cells of your beings, bypassing the resistance of your logical minds and going directly through your bodies to your higher minds. We suggest that you hold weekly group tonings. Let this become part of your rituals and entertainment and part of the process of joining together. Toning is very beneficial to release pent-up energy. You feel light and uplifted afterward. It lines you up and gets your bodies in balance. Tones themselves correspond with and affect specific areas of the body. Some sounds affect your eyesight, or taste buds, or hearing. They affect all of the various senses and the organs as well. The ancients understood that a simple sound could reorganize the body's structure. The body automatically makes the most appropriate sounds that you need in a given moment. Trust. There are sounds.
Trust. That was a very short brief. I don't know, actually, I can't even remember when I recorded that. I can't remember. I don't even know whether it was in the lockdown. It was Barbara Marciniak. Well, it was the Pleiadians, really. This was the Pleiadians. And I know why I recorded it now, I know. Because I have had this in my circles, you know, certain... Everybody who does a sound bath or has been in a sound bath or has had healing through the didgeridoo or healing through the gongs or healing through these bowls or tuning forks understands that our body is made of energy and frequency. And if you ignore that, I think you ignore that at your peril. I mean, it's a big thing, isn't it? But then there are so many big things happening at the moment in our world, everywhere, that I think we have to just reach a little higher with our thinking. And if we are not prepared to do that, then I guess we have to live in our own little world. If that is at all possible, because we are a global society. Isn't it wonderful that we're so global? I think this is absolutely wonderful. I think we shouldn't fight. I've got a friend, she's Iranian, and she has so much problems about her son. I have put on Facebook, her name is Halo Farudi. She has an ex who sounds to me horrific. Her son has some special needs, although when they were visiting me, they were fine, they got on so well. And he's now a teenager, and they have big problems because the father is not good to him, but he has custody. So anyway, there are so many stories. Let me read today's thought for the day, May the 18th, and it says, when there is harmony within myself, I can live in unity with others. The vision of a better world can then be made real. every week I've read one, I think. And every week, I think they've been appropriate. Now, I think they're appropriate per se, you know. Some things are just appropriate. Follow your bliss, you know. Anyway, when there is harmony within myself, I can live in unity with others. The vision of a better world can then be made real. And if you're not in harmony with yourself, you're probably also not in harmony with the people you live with. If you're isolated, you haven't noticed it yet. If you're living with a whole house full of people, you might have now come to a more better understanding than you did at the beginning. Who knows? When there's harmony within myself, I can live in unity with others. The vision of a better world can then be made real. Might be quite tough for some. Oh, was this fun enough? For me it was fun, but I don't know whether it is so much fun for others. I could do a whole live stream just playing circles, but they're short, and you know, it's not the same than sitting on the cliff top and doing it. But I can't see me doing this yet. I'm not a protest drummer, not at the moment anyway. I have a garden and watch how things are going, connect with my loved ones, connect with people on Facebook, and just connect in my best way right now to shift everything into a higher way of thinking, feeling. That's it. Feel into your heart whether something is right or wrong. This is soul by soul, I'm afraid. Anyway, big words, big words, big words. Thank you for listening, and I'm really enjoying this is number 10. Next week will be number 11. Bye bye.